guys, it's Allie with Chaos Monkey, and I am here just to kind of do a current project video, future project video, and finishes. Let's see. First things first, I just wanted to thank everybody who entered the giveaway. I'm really excited. I think I opened it up. I'm going to do a 100 subscriber, a 500 subscriber, and then a 1,000 subscriber was my goal. And I think I opened it up, we were over 100, we were like 143 or somewhere in there. And then once I opened it up, we were already up to, as of today, I think we're up to 420, no, I can't even read my writing, you guys. I think I'm like 427 right now. So that's really awesome, and thank you for all your amazing comments. And you know, I really like giveaways, that's why I'm doing them. I like to share, and I like to, you know, try to give back, but also it just helps a new baby channel to get exposure, because when you look for for crochet and stuff like that, or knitting podcasts, the bigger channels will pop up first on the YouTube. Sorry, I had to get a drink of coffee. Because, you know, it's just the way it works. The more viewers you have, the more activity you have, the more you're going to be pushed up on the list. So, baby channels don't get seen. So, it's really nice that all the extra activity is bringing in more people, and, you know, it's totally worth it, and I do enjoy doing giveaways, so. But we're going to hit 500 a lot sooner than I thought. So, just as a heads up, I might have to push back the 500 giveaway a little bit, just to gather more stuff together for the giveaway, because I didn't expect so many wonderful subscribers already, so that's super awesome. So thank you to everybody, and I love reading in the giveaway comments where you enter. I do not respond because I'm going to use a random comment picker, and I don't want it have to go through all of the comments plus all of my responses to try to pick somebody. So I do read every single comment, and I do put a little heart on there. And so just keep that in mind. If you're asking me questions and stuff, I won't answer them there, but I will answer them during the giveaway video for anybody who asks questions that I didn't get to and things like that. Plus, I'm going to do a little poll on the answers, because I asked, are you a knitter or crocheter? What yarn do you like? And I'm really kind of curious to kind of count up all the entries, and then kind of see how many are crocheters, how many are knitters, how many are both, and who likes what yarn. So I'll try to collaborate all the information during the announcement video, and that's what I meant to say earlier. I'll answer the questions in the announcement video that I didn't get to in the comments. We're all over the place, and I love it. I love our community. So anyway, we'll get off on the jammering here. I just wanted to say my thank yous, and to say I'm really excited about the giveaway, and I'll try to film the actual comment picker working. I don't know if I can. I'm still figuring out a lot of stuff. If I can't actually film it, I'll definitely take a picture of my computer screen, because I haven't figured out how to record off my computer or be able to put it into a video yet. Because, again, I'm still learning. I haven't even figured out how to put music in my videos or anything yet, you guys. So I had a lot of comments saying that people wanted to do their own podcast, and I highly recommend it. You know, we have, again, it's everybody. You have people who do very simple podcasts, to people who totally go over the top with production and backgrounds, and, you know, you have everybody in between. So there's a place for everybody. If you just want to start, that would be my suggestion. Just do it, and you can learn as you go and make changes as you go. So it's a really, really open community, and everybody is really, again, the Yarny community is a wonderful community. So, you know, just jump right in and you'll be welcome. Alright, so enough of that. We are going on to, I think we'll do finishes first. I've been all over the place, so I can't really remember what I finished, but hold on a sec. Oh. And you'll hear my chair. I have a really noisy chair today. I kind of borrow the office chair from the other room, and this one's kind of squeaky. So this one is a crochet finish. And again, I can only show you parts of it on the video, but I will put in pictures of it on my mannequin. And my mannequin's name is Gertrude. Yes, I named her. And this one also has tassels. So this was made out of the yarn bee Dee-Lish, and here's an example of it in a different colorway. This is the one that had the alpaca in it. I do have one of these in the giveaway, and a lot of people were excited to try the alpaca. It's 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca. So this one was in a different colorway. Let's see if I wrote it down. I did not write it down. I'll go eyeball it real quick off my computer, but this pattern is the Mystic Morning Wrap, and I do not remember the designer, but I will link it down below so you guys can find it. It's on Ravelry. I think it's a free pattern. I'm pretty sure. I'm doing a lot of free patterns lately. It's just a big triangle shawl, and I did put tassels on the corners as well with my leftovers. It's a very simple pattern, as you can see. Let me see here. Make sure I'm in camera. So you start at the top, you expand as you go, and you'll see there's just a lot of double crochet and then some chain one spaces in between, and you kind of just alternate. So there'll be a whole bunch of double crochet and then a whole series of the double crochet with a chain one, and then sometimes you'll go to chain two, so you can see some of the spaces are bigger than others, and you just do that repeat all the way down until you use up all your yarn. So that's another reason I picked the pattern, is because I wanted one that I could just keep going until I used up the whole ball. So, and I really like, so you could kind of get an idea of how the color, ooh, bumped the camera, kind of get an idea how the colors are going to stripe in whatever colorway. So like in this one, it's going to stripe very similar, just in these colors. So it does like a striping thing, and then it does like a speckled, which is really cool. And this thing is so soft. So soft. I did block it. I washed it and blocked it only because, you know, it's for me, so it's no biggie, and I don't wash and block everything, but for myself. But this darker dye was a little more chemical smelling than the rest of the dye, so I just gave it a good wash to get that out of there, and it's out. So if you do get a colorway where you notice like a smell, it most likely will wash out. It's usually just with the really darker colors because they're so saturated. So there you, oh, goodness gracious, I have a little bit of a different setup, so if I keep hitting the camera, I'm so sorry. But that's it. And it's super fun. And again, I'll put in a good picture so you guys can see it. But that's a finish. And what was the color? Let me see if I can get the color real quick. That red and black was... Oh yeah, it's Turn Over My Heart was the colorway. Because they're kind of foodie, so I guess that was like a cherry turnover kind of theme. Okay, so the second finish is a labor of love, and it's knitting, and it is, I'm going to raise this up. Oh, her eyes are going to be closed because I have to lay her down, but this was the outfit that I had done out of the Nicki Epstein book for 18-inch dolls. And it was a ski jacket and pants, and the jacket had fluff on the bottom, which I couldn't find any fluff to put on. And I have made, before you're impressed, and I'll show you the back, I made so many mistakes, but I covered them up very, very well. You guys probably, in the last video, you saw that I'd already done the pants. I did the pants as she wanted them done in the book, and they turned out, well, number one, I was kind of gauging too, so they turned out too big, and she does them flat and seams them. I don't like doing flat work and seaming, so I converted this to the round. So these were worked in the round, and at a smaller size, of course, so they fit, as you can see. It fits them, and you can see these dolls have a lot of booty, so it doesn't look like they'll fit when you're making them, but they do. So, because you have to have a lot of lot of fabric up here, and the legs are pretty skinny in relation to that. So, and yes, I know she's not wearing the right shoes, but she didn't have any shoes when I bought her, and I got these at Hobby Lobby for super cheap. So she's wearing Mary Jane's with her winter gear. But yeah, I made so many mistakes on this, and I used Cascade 220 in the pink, and then some scrap yarn I had in the gray to use it up, and this gray is a pain in the butt. It's very splitty. I'm so glad I didn't use it in anything else. But because of the larger yarn, the gauge came out a little larger, so her sweater is a little bit big for her. But keep in mind too, they also have like a really big hunchy back. So when you're making the clothes and they do look kind of big, it's because just their proportions are bigger than you think. But as you can see, it overlaps about, I'd say, an inch at the bottom. But when I put the snaps and the buttons in, you won't even tell, because I'll put them here. I'll move the snaps to here, and then when it's closed, you know, with the buttons and everything, it'll look fine. And I did do a lot of modifications, so let me get the book. Oh, and the messy bun hat isn't from the book. The messy bun, as you can see, she has a lot of hair, so I couldn't put a little bit in there. This is just a tiny messy bun hat, like you would make for a bigger person. But it was also a free pattern on Ravelry. So you'll see a lot of 18-inch doll clothes for free on Ravelry. And the reason I did the hat was because the jacket had a hood on it. And I didn't want to do the hood. I wasn't happy with my color work. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And so I just did a collar instead. Tube tie 2 rib. And it was a folded under collar and seam down here. And let me see if I can brighten this up a little bit. It is so dark in here. It snowed, and it's a little dingy dark in here. I don't want to mess up the color, but I also don't want it so so dark. But it's almost true to color. And where was I going? Oh, I didn't do the hood. I did a collar instead. And all I did was do like a 2-inch collar, fold it down, and seam it so that it was a real squishy collar. So it kind of wraps around the neck, especially when it's buttoned. But I was done. I'm telling you, after I got done with this piece, I was done with color work because she does this piece flat. So I haven't done color work flat, which means the first side you're knitting and carrying your yarn, and then of course on the back side you're purling and doing color work. And so my tension was really goofy. So alright, give me a minute. I'm going to go ahead and undress her so I can show you the inside of this sweater. Okay, so here's the jacket off of her, and I wasn't too happy with the construction. I can see why she did it the way she did it, but she does a lot of flat piecing. So, for instance, on the sleeves, which I didn't do all my ends, look at me, I wasn't sure if I was going to redo the cuffs or not, so I left these where I could find them. I think I'm going to leave the cuffs. I think I'm okay with them, but when you do, you could see all the color work on the inside, and my tension was changing a lot from working the front side to the back side with the purling with the color work and carrying all of the yarn. So I was pretty torturous. So the hood, which I'll show you guys a picture of, here's the original pattern. If I don't give away the pattern itself, here we go. Try not to give away the pattern. You can see that there was this fur trim, which I didn't do. And then here you can see the hood. So there was a cowl that she did and a hood that was also completely color work with the fur trim. I was done with color work after the body. So I did not want to do the hood as well because I wasn't happy with my tension. So that's why I just stopped and did the collar and then did a hat with the rest of these scraps. And I used up like all of this, so I was really happy, and almost all of the gray. And then also the way I did it was she did it flat, she did the sleeves flat, she seams up the sleeves, and then she attaches the sleeves and sews them in afterwards. I picked up stitches for the sleeves and just worked them down like I would for a normal adult sweater, because I don't like the seaming, I don't like working flat. So my decreases were a little fast, so you'll see when it's not on her, you can see a little bit of bumping going on, but the sleeves also haven't been blocked. The body's been blocked, but the sleeves haven't been blocked, so that might come out with a little bit of blocking. But you have to expect that too, because you have to do your decreases so quickly. And I also had to adapt, so when I put it on her, because mine was a little bigger, I had to totally adjust for the sleeves, because she wasn't going to need the length required on the pattern, because this was a little bigger over her shoulder. So my advice is, if you're going to make these, you know, don't be afraid to adapt the pattern, and don't be afraid to try it on your doll constantly to make sure it fits your doll the way you need it to, because any changes, like my changes in yarn, will make a change in the overall gauge, which will change how long the sleeves are. It's like any garment knitting or crocheting. You have to make constant adjustments, and just be prepared to do that. But I did goof on the color work, like down here. This was supposed to be pink with gray blocks, and I totally goofed it up and didn't catch it till I was about here. So I was like, I'm leaving it, and it goes with this stripe up here, and see, you wouldn't even know if I hadn't pointed it out, right? So again, this was like my prototype. All my first pieces of anything I consider prototypes, because you got to work out the kinks. But here I also did a crochet chain and sewed it to the edging, because the way I put the sleeves in and picked up stitches, I tried to be clean, but it was not clean on the edges. It was pretty jagged around the edge, so I sewed down this to clean the edge up. So again, you have to make constant adjustments and make it work. So I'm pretty happy with the result, because it looks really nice when it's on. I do want to put the snaps and the buttons on. I don't have any yet. But for my first attempt, I'm pretty happy, but now I know if I ever make it again, there's a lot of things I would change. But again, every time you make anything for your doll, you're going to have to do gauge swatches and adjustments, because I'm using scraps. I'm not using the yarn she suggests in the pattern. So just be prepared. You're going to have to make a lot of adjustments. Oh, and also for this book, just a heads up, you guys, you have to already know how to knit. She does not baby you through this. She does not tell you exactly how to do sweater construction. It's basically everything you need to make this sweater, but you better already know what you're doing for all the... I'm going to work on next so you guys can see it. I want to make another sweater next, and it's a cable sweater. But I really love the book. I'm not dissing the book at all. I'm just saying, if you're brand new, that it might be frustrating for you to not only have to do things on a smaller scale and do all the adapting, but then also kind of have to know what you're doing already. So here's the next one I want to make, just to show you guys. And I haven't read the instructions on this one, so I don't know if it's in the round or if she seamed the entire sweater. Because I'm not doing this stuff flat. I will make this whole sweater in the round and pick up for the sleeves, because... yeah, especially cable work. Who wants to go back on purl back on cable work? And I cannot. I just hope it's in the round, and if not, I'll convert it. So, oh, and you guys excuse my scar. That was an old burn that is healing. So, but yeah. So before you get super impressed, I made all kinds of mistakes. And also, when I realized that I'd messed up on the color chart down here, I had to do a lot of duplicate stitch. And duplicate stitch is where you basically go in with a different color and you mimic a knit stitch over the wrong colors. So if you do a lot of color work and you make like one tiny mistake, let's say you had a perfect piece and you had one stitch of the wrong color in the wrong spot, or 2 stitches, you can just go in with the correct color and cover it in most cases with a duplicate stitch over it. And so I had to do that here, which you can see because it was, you know, on top of full-size stitches, but only if I point it out. Because when I realized I'd messed up the chart, this was too short and there was too much gray here, and it didn't look right, so I wanted to at least balance it out, since I couldn't completely correct myself. And then also here, because my tension was super off, all of the little pink bumps inside the diamonds was not showing. I had pulled too tight, and all of these were just sucked right in. And you can't do that with color work. If you're too tight, you can go in there and pull them out like this, but they'll just pull right back in again. So it's better to go too loose than too tight with color work. And I did too tight because of the whole purling back, and it messed up my tension since I hadn't purled back color work before. And so I duplicate stitched all of these so they would show. So, you know, there's all kinds of things you can do to correct your work to make it look good. If this was an adult sweater, I would have ripped it all out and just started over when I knew I messed up back here. But since it was for a doll, I'm like, heck no. We will make this work, girly, because it's on a doll and it's a prototype, and but it was kind of torturous. I'm glad it's finished, but it was pretty crazy difficult to kind of make it work and make it look good. And again, the pants, I had to do two pants to get the pants that actually fit. So I'm totally happy with the pants. And the hat, of course, I just did once. It was easy peasy to do the hat. You just do some 1x1 ribbing, work it up like you would a normal hat, and then just leave the hole, bind off the hole up here for the messy bun. So she has a lot of hair. So yeah, that was this. I was so proud of myself when I finished because there's so many ends to weave in, and I blocked the body before I added the sleeves, and then I was like, should I block the sleeves? And I'm like, heck no, I don't want to. And I was so proud of myself, I posted it on Instagram, because I'm like, yay, I finished, but why do I do these things to myself? I always pick the hardest patterns, too. I'm a dork. So anyway, that's another finish that was torturous, but worth it in the end. And I don't think I have any other finishes, you guys. Oh, wait. Okay, I also wanted to kind of just say, because my channel, excuse my notes, because my channel was so small, and is so small, and again, the smaller channels don't come up on the feeds, I was missing a lot of other podcasters that had small channels. So due to the giveaway and due to all the activity, I got to see a lot of podcasters that I hadn't seen before. So a lot of the ones that I'm currently watching are No Catchy Name with Ella, Stitch to My Lou, Sada's Place, Homemade is Happiness, I can't remember everybody's name, I think that's Karen, Tea-Doddles with Christy, but I've been watching Tea-Doddles for a little while, and Tabitha's Treasures are kind of just off the top of my head, the current ones that I never saw before, no matter how many times I did the search and all of that. So it's just awesome to find other smaller channels, and to kind of just be part of the community. So if you guys don't know about any of those channels, go check them out. It's just nice to make, you know, more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. So welcome to everybody, and it's just fun. So, but for Ella on No Catchy Name, segue, she was going to do the calendar blanket from 2017 for Jayda and Stitches. And as she showed it, I'm like, I started that blanket and then put it in hibernation and never went back. So she motivated me to finish it. So I commented to her right away going, I'm going to work on it with you, so I'll finish it this year. So I want to show you my blocks. And again, it's Jayda and Stitches. She has a really big channel, so you'll be able to find her if you just search. But here was January's, and this one was already done from last year. So I was kind of gung-ho, started, and here's my January block. But here's another problem is I use the hook size recommended and all of that, but my squares are small. They are smaller than Jayda's. They are smaller than everybody else's by at least an inch, I think, all the way around. So I think that's another reason I kind of stopped, because when I started putting the squares together and realized how small it was going to be, I think I got discouraged. But I think I can, of course, do a fix, adapt, and probably add to the border all the way around. Either make the white border longer, make the squares bigger, and then attach them. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Maybe change the color and do like another border all the way around, and then when the whole blanket's together, it'll have like another contrasting color. Who knows? But anyway, let me get on with the blocks. This one's January, which I'd already had done. This one was February, which I had done. And again, I was into sparkle yarn. I was like, I had some sparkle yarn laying around, and I was, so each square, I guess I wanted to add sparkle to. So now I gotta stick with that. So there's Valentine's Day for February. And then March was St. Patrick's Day. I hope you guys can see all of it. And I hope it's not too dark. It snowed, so there's like a lot. There's light, but there's not light. It's a weird light. And the shamrock is green sparkle. And then I did April. And I did have April done, but then I didn't like the eyes after. They stuck up too high off the blanket, so I'm going to redo the eyes. But there was April. And then, and all of these have been blocked, if you can tell. You see how they're very drapey? Because I was trying to make my squares bigger when I realized they were too small, so I blocked them out. This is all acrylic, by the way. It's just scrap yarn. It's I Love This yarn. It's Red Heart. It's whatever I had in stash. So it's all acrylic, and you can block acrylic. You can steam block it, because washing and stretching it won't work with acrylic. It'll just go back to its original shape if it's 100% acrylic. And so you can steam block it with your iron. Just don't touch the iron to your acrylic or it will melt. Or you can use a steamer. And so I use a steamer, and so as you can see, the fabric is very drapey now, and I got the squares bigger. And you can see this is my new square, and it is not drapey because it hasn't been blocked. So if you notice that difference. But here's my new square that I just finished 2 days ago. And this one was, what are we on, May? So yay! I did May, and then I want to do June, which is a cute sun next. And hopefully I don't lose my momentum, because I really want to finish this blanket. I think I have a couple blankets in hibernation, but to be honest, one of them's a scrap blanket, so that's understandable. You work on it when you get scraps. But I have another blanket I need to put a border on that I never did. But anyway, so this time I just bought that purple sparkle, and so I decided to do the butterfly in the purple sparkle, because I think I only have blue, green, red, and purple now. So I might have to get some yellow sparkle as well. But yep, I did the square and all the applique, and it's completely done with all the ends woven in. I just have to block it. So yay, that's another finish. So Ella, I'm ahead because I'm behind from last year, but I'm gonna try to keep up and do, like, when I'm in the mood, just do a square, because I'm afraid if I say just one square a month, I'm not gonna do it again. So hopefully I'll start the sun one pretty soon, and then I will have 6 months done. So I'll be halfway. Oop, okay. So what else is there? I did make some notes so that I wouldn't forget anything. Alright. Oh, my Joya doll I'm working on. I'm going to do her arms today, so I'm not going to show her. I tried to do her arms last night, but I didn't like, again, how they were coming out. Only because I'm doing a real bad jog, and I'm trying to eliminate the jog, and plus I put the pattern down for so long, and the pattern is a little complicated, so there's a lot of little extra techniques she puts in that are really awesome, but if you have to keep referring back to the stitch guide to remember what they are, and my brain was not there. But I did try the sleeves. I'm going to go ahead and just make the arms, then make the sleeves and attach them and stuff them and just get the arms done, because I really can't go forward until I do that, and I really want to get the doll done pretty soon. So, but if you're curious about the Joya, she's in my previous WIPS video. I kind of just showed the pattern on the picture pattern, because again, I'm not doing anything on her. So now we've done finishes. We're going to do works in progress. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Jimmy Bean I started. So the Jimmy Bean Club, if you guys are interested. This is the knit club from Jimmy Beans. And I did a video on that, so I won't go into all the club details and everything. But this is all I did so far. And it does require a provisional cast on, which is what this is, for you guys who don't know. All that means is that you kind of put your starting stitches on hold. What is going on there? And so that you can rip this out later and graft it to the other side. So from what I gathered from the picture, I wasn't sure if it was a shawl or a cowl. With the provisional cast on, I'm pretty sure it's a cowl, because you're going to work the whole piece, and then when you get to the end, you're going to like wrap it up, wrap it into a circle, and then graft the beginning end onto the end end. And that's why you leave these stitches live. So when you graft it on, it looks groovy, it looks clean, is what I'm trying to say, instead of having a bind off or a cast on edge and a bind off together when you sew them. If you can hear my cat, I'm not letting him in, because he'll just want out in 2 minutes. So he can whine. My cats are spoiled, so he's used to coming in and out whenever he wants, and I have the doors shut. Huh. Okay, so that was the Jimmy Beans. I did start it. I kind of put it off because of the provisional cast on, but it's not hard. It's just I was lazy. Ooh. And then, since I'm showing you that club, I'll show you the Mary Maxim club for December, which was this blanket. And if you guys remember, I was hemming and hawing on whether to do this freaking fur and cat hair, and to do this pattern versus adapting it into a more symmetrical pattern. And so I guess when I first saw the pattern, I don't think I caught it, and if I did, I forgot. And then when I started working on it, I noticed it, and I kind of freaked because I thought it was in my head. I already thought it was like symmetrical, and so I didn't know if I liked it or not. But the more I looked at it, the more I like it. So I'm keeping it exactly as the pattern, long story short. So I made no adjustments. It's just as the pattern intended. So, but now we've done, so it's basically a repeat of both the colors and the white in between, and now I'm starting the gray section. And I'm doing it exactly as the pattern wanted. They wanted green, gray, and then blue. I didn't even change that. I'm just keeping it as is, and I'm being pretty mindless about it. But I will tell you, I really don't like this yarn very much. It splits a lot, and it's acrylic, 100% acrylic. And it will split, and also you will see these little fibers, how it's made up of 4 of these little fibers. Here, let me move this down so I can see what I'm showing you. But you can see, it may not focus. Are you going to focus for me? My camera's been such a pain in the butt. My phone, technically. Anyway, there's many fibers that make it up, and what'll happen is one of those fibers will just snap. So you'll be working along, and one of these little guys will be broken. And you can't keep going because it will unravel the entire piece of yarn. So a lot of times I have to stop, cut that piece out, and keep going. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that you don't do anything and there's just a break in one of those, and it kind of messes up the whole piece. Plus, it's kind of slippery, so weaving in the ends is going to be a pain. I try to carry up the yarn on the shorter pieces, but on the big pieces, I don't like carrying the yarn because you really see it on the edge. So I'd much rather weave it in and have a cleaner edge on the big sections. But again, this yarn is really slick, so plus I'm kind of not liking that all my ends are ending up on one side, of course, because on blankets that'll happen, and you will get like one edge of your blanket will be a little chunkier because of all the ends you had to weave in, so you have to be careful to weave them in loosely so it doesn't affect the density on the edge, but also tight enough to where they won't come undone, because you know blankets will most likely go into the washing machine. So you really want to be careful and really make sure that the ends are really well in on blankets and stuff, especially gifts, because you'll think it's in, but one wash in a washer and all your ends will come out. So, but that's it. I think I'm almost halfway through, so I should get that done pretty quickly. When I get that done, I'll start January's Mary Maxim kit and keep you guys posted on that. And then the only other thing works in progress wise is my socks, and I finally put the heels in on these guys, and I'm telling you, for some reason I kept screwing up the heels. I've made a million pairs of socks, I've done a zillion pairs of socks like this. I just could not do heels. I kept screwing it up, ripping it out, screwing it up, put it in timeout. Picked it up yesterday and said that's it, I need the heels in, right? Because I can't go any further. You hit the heel, you got to put a heel in before you can do the cuff, which will go pretty quickly, you know, because you're just back in the round. Because when you're doing the heel, even I use the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and so even on that one you're working back and forth. You know, it's just a different way to do your short rows to get your shaping. And man, so it takes a lot longer, and so I kept having to rip it all the way out, start over, rip it all the way out, start over. I did one heel 3 times, and then I did the other heel twice. Well, no, I think I made by with the second heel. I think I got through unscathed. But sometimes it happens. It just happens for no rhyme or reason. Just make stupid mistakes. I think one of the times as I was talking to my boyfriend, and I think that distracted me, and what I ended up doing was purling back, and I made a stockinette strip in the middle, because normally you would knit on one side and purl on the other to get a smooth heel like this fabric, if you want your heel to look like this. But I do this way on my boyfriend's socks because he likes the extra cushion, so you knit every front and back to get garter. And I think I went on autopilot and just started purling back, and I had a big strip right at the edge of the heel that was stockinette, and so it went garter, and then it bumped down to a smooth section and bumped back up, and so I wasn't going to leave that because you would feel that in your heel and it would be really annoying, and plus, yuck, it just looked bad. So finally got the heels in, so I will have these finished, and these are for my boyfriend out of Crochet. And this was in the, I forgot, the Greener Pastures colorway. So as you can see, these are boy socks, so the toes are wider than I would do for myself. The bottom has a 1x1 rip because he likes the extra squish. Some people are very sensitive and they can't have any bumps on the bottom, but he loves it. He loves the extra squish. And then also the garter heel, and this is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So finally, and it will look skinny because I do them at a fairly tight gauge so that there's a lot of negative ease, so they fit really nice on the foot. And as you wear hand knit socks, they will stretch out a little bit. So it's better to have negative ease because as they stretch out as you're wearing them, they won't slide off your foot. If you make them too fit, they will slide off. So you have to go a little tighter than you would normally. And so that's why they look pretty narrow. But trust me, he has really wide feet and they fit him really nicely. So it looks long and skinny. And now we're just on the leg, and I'm going to do ribbing on the front of the leg to give him a little more stretch before I hit the cuff. So, and finally I can get these off the needles and make some socks for me, or maybe my son. I make socks for, oh, speaking of my son, I'll try to put a picture in here, you guys. I'll make a note. I don't have a pen. Oh, here it is. I'm going to make a note to put in a picture. My kids are grown, and my son is 25. Pretty sure he's 25. I have to do the math. I think he's going to be 26 this year. And I taught him to crochet when he was like 10. We're trying to think back, and I think we got from like 10 to 12. And he started crocheting again, which was super awesome. Like a few months ago, we were texting or talking, and he was like, by the way, I'm crocheting. And I forget the first thing he made was, maybe he was just goofing around trying to get back into it. I don't know if he finished anything, but he'd used like some camo red heart, and he was working on something. And then he showed me a picture the other day. He's doing a blanket. Yo, he's actually whipping up a blanket in double crochet out of blanket yarn. So I'll stick a picture in there. It's like, I'm so proud of him. He's awesome. My girls don't really, they will crochet every once in a while when they're in the mood, but they haven't done it in a long while. I think my youngest was making some blankets, some like big chunky blankets, and my oldest can make anything she wants just by winging it, but she hasn't made anything recently. But I was really surprised because my son hadn't done it since he was a kid, and isn't that awesome? So teach your kids, even if they act like they don't want to learn or they lose interest right away, they'll definitely pick it up later. It's just the way it goes. Oh, I also finished a Kit Kat hat, but it was a commission, so I'll put a picture of that in there too if you guys are interested. It's the Kit Kat hat by Andre Sue Knits. It's a free pattern, and it was just out of some Hobby Lobby. And I'll try to link what I can down below. But for future projects, I don't really have anything except for the Mary Maxim for January. And I'll keep you guys posted what I'm going to do with that. And then I think maybe I want to put a shawl on, another crochet shawl, another free pattern, and do, maybe make this one up into a quick shawl. That's one thing I love about crochet. It is so much faster than knitting. I mean, I love knitting too. I love them both. But sometimes you just want to crank something out and see it finished. And crochet is great for that when you just want to see some stuff done. So yeah, I think that's it. And that's it. So you guys, I try to be fairly quick and just try to throw out my stuff. I hope everything was in focus. And I will talk to you later. Bye.